Hey everybody! I've just finished my the Prince of Egypt commentary, and I've started recording my review for the movie. Now, of course, the movie came out 20 years ago, so what's the point of doing a review right now? Well, I haven't watched the movie in a while, and I'm pretty sure all of you guys probably didn't watch this movie in a while. There might be some people watching it who haven't watched the movie at all. And I just did a commentary on it, full hour and 40 minutes plus commentary. So if you've watched that, then you probably already watched the movie. So I'm making a review on it. I'm joined by my trusty sidekick, my Timon Pillow. And joining me for the first time, and probably the last time, in this very Pesach-appropriated review, the matzah, a Jewish tradition. We eat these little things to remind us of what we ate in the desert for 40 years. See? I actually love these, but that's just me. I'm weird like that. By the way, you may have noticed I didn't eat any of these during the movie because, well, it might have been pretty annoying to some people. So, The Prince of Egypt. DreamWorks Animation did their take on the biblical story of Moses and, the liberation of the Hebrew people from Egypt. And, in my eyes, it ended up being pretty good. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I'm one of those, very young people who haven't watched the Ten Commandments. Not to say that I'm not going to watch it. I mean, I've heard so many good things about this movie. I've heard that it's easily one of the best Hollywood classics. That being said, the movie's over 3 hours long. It is very hard in this day and age to make up a space of 3 hours to watch a movie. But now that I've got my my YouTube channel, maybe I'll consider watching the movie and do a review on it for my channel. But this is not the case. We were talking about the Prince of Egypt. So, The Prince of Egypt, starring Val Kilmer as, obviously, Moses and the disembodied voice of God. Ray Fiennes as Prince Ramesses II. Hold on. Sandra Bullock as Miriam. Jeff Goldblum as Aaron. Michelle Pfeiffer as Zipporah. Who else? Danny Glover as Jethro. Patrick Stewart as Seti, otherwise known as Pharaoh. I literally just watched the credits, and I should remember the names of all these people, but fortunately, that is why we have the internet. Let me just... There we go, The Prince of Egypt. Blah, 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 blah. Wait a minute. Is it Ray Fiennes or Ralph Fiennes? Hold on. Helen Mirren as Tuya, the Queen. Steve Martin as Hotep, and Martin Short as Hoi. And of course, I think I mentioned this, but Ofra Haza is Yocheved. Blah 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 blah. Yep, it's Ray Fiennes. voice, the voice of Ramesses and Voldemort of all people. He really does have a knack for playing evil British guys. And apparently even Egyptian guys. So, I think I've wasted enough time just looking up the cast. Well, the movie's magnificent. It's amazing. The score by Hans Zimmer is entrancing. That's the word I was looking for. Entrancing. It gets you into the mood. It makes you feel like you're there. Like you're actually witnessing the suffering of the Hebrew people firsthand. When they have their children taken away from them and thrown into the river. When Moses and Ramesses get into these arguments about the morality of the situation and the whole an empire can't be built on the backs of slaves. The stubbornness of Ramesses and the determination of Moses are the two driving forces in the second half of the movie. The first half of the movie is basically the hero's journey of Moses. Finding out that everything in his life was a lie, and that he's really a Hebrew man. He's born from the same blood as the people that he spent his entire life oppressing, which is just, a reality shock on a different level. And of course Val Kilmer, who of course is mostly known at the time from Top Gun and playing Batman and one of the worst movies in history. He really brought his A game in this movie, and he just embodied the spirit of Moses. And as a guy, a Jewish kid growing up on the stories of Moses and Ramesses and the Passover literally every year in Pesach. I already knew these stories before I watched the movie. At the first time when I was in first grade. I've known about these stories even before I started learning them in high school. Not in high school, in grade school, in third grade. But to see it brought to life in an animated form, which is my preference sometimes, but the movie really encapsulated everything you'd expect a story like that to be, from the magic element to the faith base of it, the evilness of some people's hearts. And when you really think about it, Ramesses is a bit more of a complex villain than he's presented in the biblical story, because it's easy for a Jewish person to criticize Ramesses as just this evil figure who had nothing but hatred in his heart. But in the movie, at least, he's portrayed as more of a sympathetic villain. Let's put it that way. He really is just trying as hard as he can to win his father's approval and live up to his name and his legacy. And he's determined not to be the weak link that will break this massive chain that is the Egyptian Empire. And in some ways, you really feel for the guy, and it's only enhanced by the fact that he's voiced by one of the greatest actors on the planet, Ray Fiennes. a lot of people, criticize the fact that it's just celebrities going to a recording booth for a few hours and just leaving. But that does not exclude the fact that they really are pulling as much weight as they probably would on a live action set. So I think it's worth mentioning. Obviously, you gotta talk about the animation and the mixture of very early stages of CGI mixed in with the 2D, the traditional hand-drawn animation, which was done to perfection by a very young studio at the time, DreamWorks, obviously most notably known for their work on the Shrek movies and How to Train a Dragon stuff. I believe this movie was one of their first. I believe it was either their first movie or their second. I'm not 100% sure on that. But even though it was a magnificent first or second attempt. And I really am glad this movie exists. Even for people who are watching this review, or people who've watched the commentary, or even just people who know of this movie's existence. Even if you don't believe in any of the stories in the Bible or the New Testament or anything, you gotta admit it's an incredible, fantastic story all the way through. I mean, sure, it kinda doesn't make sense in a lot of ways. There's a lot of very crucial plot conveniences, but the way the original story is told and the way it's been adapted to screen in this particular attempt, I believe the people in charge deserve a massive thumbs up from myself. 20 years too late, by the way. So, I kind of got a little too deep in this little review. I love this movie. I hope you guys, if you haven't watched it yet, it's on Netflix, so you really have no excuse to not watch it. So, please, if you haven't checked this movie out yet, give it a chance. Of course, give me a comment down below if you feel like it, if you like this movie, if you have something to share about this movie, if I've missed something about this movie. I don't know. I'm not the best reviewer on YouTube, and I will be the first to tell you that. So, share, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Happy holidays.